Hey, really? As soon as I start, of course, a bug shows up. Hi. Um, this is my first stream under my new Twitch name, Cinnabar Nick. It's a shout out to Cinnabar Island from Pokemon, and my name is Nick. And that that border right there around the chat box, that is Cinnabar. The background is Celadon, and my border is Cerulean. They're all cities from Pokemon. So yeah, that's what that's all about. But enough about that. We are here to talk Big Brother 23. A lot has happened in the last few days since I did my last stream about it. Um, so, last night we had the eviction, the first live eviction of the season, first eviction of the season, which, it was nice that everybody at least got a full week in the house to, have their shot, play the game, do their thing. But we will get to that and the HOH competition that was also last night. My drink of choice today is pink lemonade. In case you needed more proof that I'm a 90s kid, I am drinking pink lemonade into my 30s. The lighting is coming in and out. It's kind of annoying. Uh, okay. So, by the way, I don't know if you can hear my air conditioner going in the background, but if you can, I'm not turning it off because plus humidity, it's about 96 degrees today. And that was just last time I updated my phone, so it could be even higher by now. So, yeah, it's not going off. But yes, before we get to last night's results, let's talk a little bit about what's happened since my last stream. So, this is kind of a big thing. It had some people up in arms, and rightly so. It seemed as though Brent groped Hannah. Like he touched her butt in a way that was questionable. And I say questionable because like she didn't really react to it too much. And some people have said that like because it was during Kylan's birthday party and they did a toga party, and some have said he was just adjusting her toga, and I'm like, he was. He was just like, he had an open palm like right on her backside. It didn't look like he did any adjusting at all. He just kind of put his hand on it and just kind of he did like this. That's what it looked like. But like the fact that she didn't really react to it and like she hasn't made anything of it is like that is the thing that has me thinking maybe it wasn't a grope, or at least she didn't perceive it as a grope, but maybe he enjoyed it a little bit. But even if he didn't grope her, I still don't like him. So I still have plenty of other reasons to want him out because he really is a jerk. Now, speaking of Kylan's toga party, birthday party, um, Frenchie, he didn't really seem to be participating in it. He was just kind of there. Like, he didn't have a toga on or anything. Like, everyone else just kind of went all out. Some of them even gave themselves names for their toga personas. And I'm like, okay, this is like a fun house bonding experience. But no, Frenchie, he didn't really participate. It's like being kind of a stick in the mud about it. And I don't know. It's indicative to me of him just not being much of a team player. Even though they really kind of like they put teams together this season for a reason. But like the reason was to prevent huge alliances, but then Frenchie's gone off and done a bunch of those. And, like, so he's not a team player, but he's making a lot of alliances with himself. And we'll talk about one of his newest alliances in a moment. But, like, okay, so Tiffany was talking to Derek F about Frenchie, or as she calls him, Fry, about his messiness, just what a mess he has made. And she said that she would still rather target Brent before Frenchie because she does have more of a connection with Frenchie. And, I'm fine with that because, like I said, I don't like Brent. I don't like the way he talks to people. But, I do hope that Tiffany is able to sever ties with him before it's too late. Maybe that time isn't now for her, but I think it should be sooner rather than later. That's just what I'm thinking. And Tiffany also said that she would not target Derek X, which is nice because everyone seems to have it in for him, and it's just like the first 2 or 3 days, I was just watching Derek X, and he was just trying to bro out with everybody, and I'm like, are you serious, dude? This is not what we signed up for with you. But then he started realizing where he was on the totem pole, and he started adjusting his game plan a little more accordingly. And then it's like, okay, now I like you, Derek X. And hearing Tiffany say she wouldn't target him, that's nice. So that had me thinking, like, okay, I would not mind seeing a Tiffany HOH this week. And we have to talk about Frenchie's latest brainchild, an all-female plus him alliance called the French Kisses. It's him, Hannah, Claire, Ozza, Tiffany, and Sarah Beth. And there were, like, some of the women on the feeds were just like, are we really in an all-girl alliance with a man? Like, that was started by a man? So, like, you could already tell they weren't too fond of it, and, like, Ozza, she was, like, kind of forced into it because she didn't want to say no, because then that's just, like, the easiest way to put a target on yourself. But, like, she wasn't into it, and I was so waiting for the DRs from those ladies about this alliance, and all of them were like, "A man can't start an all-female alliance. That's just not right, and it isn't right." And Frenchie's reasons for doing it are purely selfish. It's not like he's just like he has a connection with them. He just wants them as like backup to keep him safe. And it's like, I don't know. It's dumb. It's so questionable and so obvious, really. Like, all the women are like, this is dumb. You shouldn't be the one to do this. And word eventually got back to Whitney and Alyssa, the two women in the slaughterhouse, and they're just like, now there's an all girls alliance and we're not in it. And it's like, well, you're basically in an all male alliance. You are the Frenchies of the slaughterhouse. You're like the standouts, gender wise. So, like, uh, when Travis was named the replacement nominee, I was like 100%. You couldn't sway me at all. Get him out. I don't care. Just he has to go. No questions asked. And then like it was 100%. I want Travis to go. 0%. I want Alyssa to go. But then the more Alyssa talked this week, she closed the gap significantly. And like it started when she was like officially put in the slaughterhouse. Like that was when it kind of went like I still want Travis out, but now it's not like 100%. It's like 98%, and that's just gone on, and Alyssa's just been catching up to him. Was I saying Alyssa before? I feel like I might not have been. I feel like I might have said. I feel like I might have said Whitney. If I did, then I apologize for the confusion. I meant Alyssa. I'm still. I keep thinking I'm there with the names, but then I find myself tripping up a couple times. But yeah, Alyssa and Whitney, they're like close to each other, but not really any of the other women in the house. And they're just like hanging out with the guys, and it's just giving me Franzel flashbacks. Fran flashbacks. I like to just call her Fran to save time, and I feel like she would hate it. Uh, I feel like she'd see it and probably block me immediately. Although I think it'd be in her best interest to just like not use Twitter anymore. She should know by now that nobody likes her that much. But anyway, yeah, just Alyssa and Whitney, they're they strike me as the type of Big Brother female contestants that gang up with the guys and get all the other women out until they're the last two women standing. So, like by the time of the live episode, it was Alyssa had closed the gap to like 65% I want Travis gone, 35% I want Alyssa gone. And plus, it would have been a pretty amazing blindside. Like, think about it. The Slaughterhouse is an 8-person alliance, but Alyssa's nominated and Frenchie's HOH, so there's only 6 people voting out of 13 on eviction night. So, if the rest of the house had banded together and they decided to get Alyssa out, oh my god, it would have been delectable. But the odds of that happening were pretty low. I realized that. But boy, would that have been funny. It would have been the greatest blindside since Austin on BB17. Like that. I'm still riding the high of BB17. I finished it just a few weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, I think. And no, like a week and a half. Yeah, I finished like right before 23 started. And that season was just it's my favorite that I've seen so far. And like yeah, Austin getting blindsided the way that he did. That is the vanguard for me for Big Brother blindsides. I mean, he left without shoes on. Like how do you beat that? He was so caught off guard he didn't even put his shoes on. But real quick, there is one other note I made in my phone that I would love to talk about, and it's something that I had even kind of said in in some certain words myself on Twitter. Uh, Claire, uh, she's the captain of the Queen's team, and Travis was the last pick for her team. He was the last pick, period, with Sarah Beth. And like when he was in the veto competition and just bombing at it, Claire was just in a confessional like, I didn't pick Travis, I got Travis. So like I think those were actually my words on social media, but that was the gist of what she said. She doesn't give a crap about Travis. She was just like, okay, he's here, he's on my team. Oh, but he's not doing well. I don't care. I will talk about that veto competition because I I knew the veto had happened. I knew who won, but I didn't know exactly what the competition was. And I got to talk about Derek X's strategy in that because I thought he had a really good strategy. Like everyone else is just kind of starting at the top. Derek X started at the bottom. He wanted to figure that out first, so that by the time he got to the top, he could just copy off everybody else. And I'm like, you are gonna let everybody else do all the work, and then you're gonna swoop in and take all the glory, like a good American. So yeah, I approved of the strategy. Like that is the kind of sneaky, like kind of shady but still fair play move that I like to see in Big Brother. So I thought that was a very clever move on Derek X's part, and he won. It worked out for him. And and yeah, Frenchie's diary rooms were kind of entertaining. Just seeing how everything was going wrong for him. Like, this is my worst case scenario. But at the end of the day, it's my worst case scenario. He says at the end of the day a lot, and worst case scenario a lot. And he was on the feed saying, I bet everyone's saying dad gum because I say dad gum a lot. I literally never noticed him saying that until he said it. Like when the episodes were on, yeah, I heard him saying it then because like now it's in my head. You know, it's like don't think about elephants. What do you think of? Elephants. So I wonder if he did that as like some kind of if he did some kind of like reverse psychology inception get America associating that term with me instead of all of my crackheadery that I've had through my HOH. Well, I guess since he's from the country, like a rural area, I guess with him it would be meth headery. Like crack was always more of a city thing, and he's a country boy through and through. So yeah, with Frenchie, it's meth headery. So as we all know, Derek X used the veto to save Kyland. He told Kyland he would, but then he was getting pressure to use it on Kyland. He was getting pressure to use it on Alyssa, and he got pressure to not use it at all. So obviously, I was just saying like Derek X, you do you. This is your veto. You weigh all the options, and you do what you think is best. And I personally think that him saving Kyland was probably his best move from the information he had. Sorry, I don't want to scratch myself on stream anymore. It's annoying me doing it. So, now we get to. Oh, wait, no, one more thing. One more thing I want to talk about. Um, when Frenchie puts Travis on the block, um, we get a confessional from Travis saying, Frenchie promised me safety night one, and then he went back on his word, and this is just confirming that he's not a man of his word. And I'm like, okay, Travis, see what this is right here? This is your move. You have to tell the rest of the house that Frenchie promised you safety night one, and he went back on his word, and he can't be trusted. That was his best move for survival. But he kind of played around it for a while, and apparently he did it right before the live show started. But you know, we might get to see it on Sunday's episode. But like what we were seeing of his campaign, he literally just went to Frenchie and Brent. That rhymed. He went to Frenchie and Brent. Sorry, I rhyme more often than I intend to. I don't know what it is. But yeah, they showed him talking to Frenchie and Brent, and they didn't show him talking to anybody else because he didn't really talk to anybody else about it. He's just like, okay, Frenchie and Brent are running the show. Like, if it's obvious to Travis, it's probably obvious to everybody, so, you know. Hopefully, everybody else sees it, since clearly Travis can see it if he only decides to talk to the two people that he thinks are in charge of the house, and he's not really wrong. Who are we to say he's wrong from the way they've been running things? So, yes, when it comes time for the eviction, uh, Alyssa and Travis get one last chance to plead their cases, and I'm gonna come right out and say it. These were probably the two worst "save me" speeches I have ever heard. Like they're up there. I mean, like, okay, maybe the worst is Christmas last season, but I don't really classify that as a "save me" speech because she knew she wasn't going anywhere. Okay, hold on. I gotta like cover this window because like the way the lighting is changing repeatedly, it's driving me crazy, and it's probably driving anybody else crazy watching this video. So I'm gonna be right back. Just don't go anywhere. Okay, well, it's a lot darker in the background. Uh, you know what? I think I can fix that too. Be right back again. Wow, that didn't help at all. I literally closed the curtain back there. But I guess we're just doing this then. Sorry. I'll try and block it out with my giant head as much as I can. Uh, okay, so, um, the eviction. Alyssa and Christian give the two worst save me speeches I've ever heard. And Alyssa just shouts out her company, and she's like, "It's my birthday Saturday, so let's just have another party." And Travis takes his shirt off and says, "Sorry about the stains in my bed. It was shaving cream." And I'm like, "Ew, just don't, don't bring that up, dude. That's nasty." It's like, no, just no, you don't do it. And like, as bad as Alyssa's speech was, when I heard Travis's and saw that his move was taking off his shirt and not just looking at everybody and saying, "Hey, Frenchie promised me immunity. I won," and he went back on his word. Uh, when he didn't do that, I'm just like, okay, so you can just go then. Because at the time, I didn't know that he had uh, gone public with that information before the show. I found out when he was talking to Julie afterwards, and yeah, I'm like, I'm done with this guy. He can go. He's evicted 11-2. Derek F threw out a rogue vote just like he said he would, and he told a lot of people he would. So it's like it's not even really that rogue. And Tiffany voted to keep Travis as well. And like she kind of had an arrangement with Frenchie to throw a rogue vote, but at the same time, Travis was on her team, so that may have also been a factor. And let's let's talk about the stupid, painful, head in the sand thing that uh, Travis said when he left and talked to Julie. Um, he said, "I got targeted because the white guy with abs always gets targeted first." And I'm like, who told you that? Like, is BB-17 the only season you've watched? Like, you saw Jace go out first, and you were like, well, this clearly happens all the time. I'm like, no, dude. Mm. Like, the second that came out of his mouth, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see how Twitter handles that comment. It was, I cringed so hard. Like, I mean, last season it was the the oldest woman in the house, and she was voted out unanimously. Season before that, the first three to go were the two black people and the South Asian man. Okay, and the fourth one to go was the Asian woman, the Chinese woman. I think Bella was Chinese, right? Yeah, she was. And also, the old guy was technically the fourth one evicted, but he came back. Even so, I just want to say I don't like saying old when it comes to Cliff because he was like 54. That's upper middle age. Like for me, old is 60. 60 and up. That's old. But, Cliff was the oldest one in the house by like at least 15 years. So, yeah. And it's just like I cringed so hard when he said that. It's like you don't watch this show. Or if you do, you're a complete idiot. And I don't think he watched the show. Like there was a lot of evidence that he was a recruit. Like he I don't know. He didn't really seem to work too hard to save himself. Like Alyssa definitely put in more work to save herself, but I do feel like maybe she kind of showed some of her true colors in her efforts to keep herself in the house. Like the people she's aligned with now, I think they're just going to continue to bring out a side of her that we're not going to enjoy too much. And I think my prediction preseason that she was going to be the big flop of the season, I think it's starting to come true. Now, that doesn't mean biggest flop does not mean the worst person in the house because she's not there yet. Biggest flop means the one we had the highest hopes for and is not living up to them. Like a lot of people, I didn't really, but a lot of people had high hopes. A lot of people were like, Alyssa, she's gonna be a good one. She's gonna go far. She's gonna be one to watch. And like I read her interview and I'm just like, I get Annalise from her. Ironically, Travis was more like Annalise than her this week, but I still think like now I'm getting more Annalise mixed with Fran. So thing is, you want to stay in the competition longer, it's better to be Fran than Annalise. So I'm worried that's who Alyssa is going to become. So yeah, that's why I think Alyssa is the biggest flop of the season because like where she was preseason and where she is now, that's like the biggest drop anyone has had. Frenchie, people didn't really have too high hopes for him. Like, yeah, some people were like, "Oh, okay, he's a farmer, but he's like, he seems to be a little bit more progressive. Like, he had Black Lives Matter written on his truck, and some people were like, "Oh, hey, this guy might be all right," and then others were like, "We don't know. We think he might just be doing this for BB Twitter," and him going back on his word that he wouldn't nominate a person of color week one. Uh, That is that gives further evidence to the latter argument that it's just for show. That it was just for show. Sassy sip. That was me sassing what Frenchie promised versus what he's delivering. But some people didn't trust his promise to begin with. All right, so Travis is gone. 11-2. Now it's time for the HOH competition. And it's set up like a big pool table, but in practice it's more like mini golf, really. But there were 30 balls, well, 30 stickers shaped like billiard balls. They have the numbers 1 through 30 on them. And initially, I think they were supposed to like type on these keypads what numbers they wanted to stand on, but they were having technical difficulties. And I didn't really see too many people talk about this, but I got a quick look at those keypads. They look like they were from the 90s. Those did not look current at all. Like, they went cheap. They hit a thrift store to get those. And 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 then they said they're having technical difficulties. Like, I had that thought before the technical difficulties. I'm like, really? They're using those old things? Like, it's the kind of thing you see at a supermarket that hasn't updated itself since George W. Bush's first term. And yeah, that's just what you have to work with. And it's like that's what they're working with. Like, they upped the prize money this year, so did they just not have a budget to use better technology? They didn't have a couple of iPads lying around that they could rig for this thing. So there were technical difficulties, and they had to go to commercial. And I was just like, oh my god, are we gonna have to not know for a little while longer who's gonna be HOH this week? Like, am I just still gonna have to labor under the delusion that Frenchie is still technically HOH until the feeds come on? But luckily, when it came back, everything was sorted. I think they kind of just decided to forego the keypad part, so they just did it off screen. And so they were all lined up, and they were all like, Alyssa was on 15, and that was the lowest, and they were all on each one going up, all the way to Derek X, who was on 28. And of course, the higher the number, the harder the shot. But the lowest number would like get to go first. So of course that's the trade-off. You can go early and have a better shot, but then you got to watch everyone else go after you and hope they don't beat you. So sorry. Probably should have done that when I turned away like this. But again, I wasn't picking my nose. I was scratching. So Alyssa goes first. She gets it in. And then Brent goes next and he gets it in. And I'm like, is it just going to keep handing off like this? I'm like, okay, maybe it's not too bad to just get Alyssa and Brent out of the way early. But then the next like 4 or 5 people at least. I feel like it might have even been more than that. But they keep missing, and the shots are getting harder as they go along. And I'm just like, are we about to have a Brent HOH? It's just gonna be a Frenchie HOH all over again. Except he's just gonna nominate 2 people we love and be a jerk about it. The only positive thing that could have come from Brent winning HOH was that Derek X would be safe in that instance. But still, I was just thinking of all the people that Brent would target, and I'm just like, nope, I don't want it. I don't want it. But then people just kept missing, and I could feel my blood pressure spiking. And then Kyland gets it in. And I took a big sigh of relief. There were still a few people left to go. There were like 4 or 5 people left after him. So I guess that mean there were, what, 6 or 7 people that missed after Brent got his, and that was what was spiking my anxiety. And I was looking at who was left after Kylan, and I'm like, the only one I'm a little unsure of is Derek F because he's just been all over the place. But when Derek F missed, I'm just like, okay, I think I can breathe now. And then Derek X was the last one, and I'll admit, in that moment, I was like, I think I'd rather see Derek X get this because you never can tell. Like, it would have been nice to see Derek X win HOH because so many people ganged up on him and made him feel like crap all the last week. And, it would have been pretty cool to see him get HOH so he could get some payback. But he missed his shot, and Kylan became HOH, the first black HOH since Bailey in season 20. That is a depressing fact. It's because they don't cast enough black people on this show for that to happen. I mean, he's the first person of color to win HOH since Jessica in BB21. Jessica was Hispanic, Latina. So, yeah, when Kylan won HOH, I was so happy for him. I'm like, yeah, he was just on the block, and he just was saved from the block, and it was just his birthday this week. I'm like, all right, this is cool. I'm happy about this. Like, I was feeling great about a Kylan HOH for about 10 minutes. And then the uncertainty came back. I started thinking about his alliances. He is in the slaughterhouse with 7 other people. He is in the cookout with 5 other people. He is like this with Sarah Beth. Like they are exchanging information to each other. Like they are each other's confidant. And a lot of people are like, "Whoa, why are you two telling each other this?" But I'm like, "No, this is good. This is good because now they can get more information and maybe use it against people who are abusing their power later on." So, like, Slaughterhouse is out. Cookout is out. Tiffany and Claire out because they are on Kylan's team and they are guaranteed immunity for the week. So then it hit me. He is not in a formal alliance that seems to have any weight with Derek X or Brittany. And I am now thinking that Kylan is going to want to appease his groups that he is in. And he's going to put up the 2 people he is not officially aligned with. I mean, official is kind of a loose term, but like he hasn't really promised anything to Derek X or Brittany. So at this point in time, I'm thinking that he is going to put Derek X on the block, even though Derek X just used the veto on him and saved him from possible elimination. And I'm just seeing everyone so happy for Kyland. And like, yes, this is gonna be a good week. We are eating good this week. And I'm like, I love the excitement, but there are a lot of factors we have to think about here, and I'm very worried that some people might be setting themselves up for disappointment when he doesn't just put up Frenchie or Brent or anyone in the slaughterhouse. So yeah, it's up in the air still, and it's gonna be up in the air a little longer because they're doing the wild card today, which means they might put the veto off until. I mean, they put nominations off until tomorrow, and then put the veto off until Sunday. And I'm like, this twist is just messing with the whole rhythm of the season. So now I'm thinking, like, if Derek X doesn't win this wild card thing, I think he's in trouble. And if he can't pull out another veto win, I think he's in trouble. And that's what I'm worried about. A lot of people are like, no, he won't do that. Like, they have been talking to him, and like Sarah Beth has gone to him, and she's proposed an alliance that I like the sound of. It'd be her, Kyland, Tiffany, Claire, and Derek X. That would be a pretty good alliance, I think. It'd be like I hope it can stay together. I mean, I hope it can come together officially. I mean, he can't put up his fellow teammates, and he'd be crazy to put up Sarah Beth because she's been really close to him. It'd be a huge betrayal, and she would go public with all of the secrets he's told her. So, yeah, he can't put her up either because it would she would probably destroy his game on the way down. But he hasn't really confirmed or denied it since I've been checking updates. So it's not set in stone yet. I hope that Sarah Beth can convince him. Tiffany and Claire are on board, I think, with it. They want to. I think Tiffany wants to steer him towards Brent. So hopefully she can do that. And as far as him putting up Brittany, like, I don't think it's the best move. I don't think it's a big move, but like, it's it's just it'd be too safe for him, and I'm just kind of over people playing it safe. Like, you were you were cast for a reason. You're on television. You're here to entertain, so make it entertaining. So I don't like people playing it safe all the time, which is what a lot of people do. Sassy sip, sassy chug, because that was the end of it. So I hope that Tiffany and Claire can really get through to Kylan, and Sarah Beth can get through to him more than she has, and make it so that Derek X doesn't go up. Like, I want them to be like, no, this is not the best move for you. This is the best move for other people. It's you would be doing this move for other people because he would be. All right, now it's that part of the stream where I go check some updates and see what's going on since I've been streaming for the past 44 minutes and 13 seconds. What do we got? Give me a second. Well, apparently Tiffany and Claire are letting Derek X know what the nicknames are. Frenchie is Fry, Brent is Bottle. The two of them together are Facebook, FB. Derek X laughed and said, "He's Asian guy." That his words. His words. Oh, Frenchie says he's gonna let Brittany play in the wild card. Frenchie's like, if Whitney and Alyssa are gonna play, let the ladies battle it out. I'm like, okay, I don't really want to pull this card too much, but look, depending on what the competition is, he may have an advantage as a more like okay, Whitney is like super skinny. Alyssa is like tiny. Frenchie is ex-military. Okay, like let's just you know what? Forget I even brought gender into it. Okay, he's ex-military. He's got some training. He's got some skills. He is at an advantage, so he should want to play in this more. So I think this is him possibly screwing himself, and Brittany possibly saving herself. Oh wait. See, this is why I read. This is why I look at my timeline in reverse. It's like Memento, and now it's like I'm seeing that Frenchie told Brittany to tell house guests she's gonna play the wild card, so the others don't use their strong players, and he can sneak in. Okay, yeah, that's the Frenchie I'm more used to. All right, so that's my timeline. What do we got on BB updates? But Tiffany's saying she's got to comfort Frenchie to get him off of her, like get him off her back. Is he like mad at her or something? Because if he is, then Tiffany's done a lot of work. She has supported him through a lot of his questionable decisions. So if he's turning on her now, then she should just go right to Kylan and be like, yeah, okay, put Frenchie up. We got your back. We can do this. And she's saying I did a bad job last night. Like what? Okay. I did a bad job of getting him off my back. Okay. Okay, I get it now. Sarah's saying she's gonna hang out with Alyssa all day, but Tiffany is suggesting that she let Alyssa come to her. Okay, it's intriguing. Like, let her come to you, see if she does, and that might tell you something. I like the way Tiffany's mind works. Like she looks at things in certain ways that I wouldn't have thought of, and I like it. Tiffany's pointing out the wrong person goes home, they're screwed. Already on the outskirts. We ate the meat and potatoes of this soup. We're like the peas and carrots. Her metaphors are so much better than Frenchie's. Like, can we just talk about that for a second? Like everything with him, it's all countrified. That's like, dude, we get it. Like this is why I didn't like James too much on BB17. Like I liked him enough on 18, but like watching 17, he's just so everything was like, I'm a country boy. I'm from the South. Yada yada yada. It's just it wouldn't stop with him, and it's like, shut up. We get it. Like we hear it in the way you talk. So yeah, Tiffany is way better than Frenchie at metaphors because like, Frenchie's just got this whole good old boy act, and it's annoying. See if I can find any other anything else. Oh, this is what Claire said about the rogue votes. Why do you care? Are you scared there is a two-person alliance? Fair point, because the people who are most worried about it are in an eight-person alliance. Oh, okay. Sarah wants. Well, I'm just looking at an old thing from BB Updates. Sarah said we need to get out Brent this week, and Tiffany agreed. I feel like Tiffany might have said it first, but Sarah definitely was feeling this way independently. So like that's good. That's two people that will be like, yes, Kyland, do this. We got your back. Hannah says, I don't like when people think they're running the house. We're not in high school. And Derek X points out that Brent thinks he's the one running the house. So I'm still cautiously awaiting Kylan's nominees. I see why. I would see the reasoning behind him putting up Derek X. And that reasoning would be that he was pressured into it, which is not cool. Let the man play his own game. I've gotten 3 emails since I've been streaming. I never get emails unless I'm streaming. I swear it knows. Apparently, Frenchie is currently talking to Derek X and just harassing him again. Like, leave the kid alone. Apparently, Alyssa is now talking about Frenchie needs to play and win to save Derek F. And I'm just like, he's not on your team. He's in your alliance. Like, why do you have such a vested interest in him? He just nominated you. Like, it's annoying. I don't get how like the fact that Alyssa has been suckered in by Frenchie this hard is like it's actually showing me that she's kind of weak. Like she just clings to power, even if that power just hurt her. I don't get it. Like you should be working with others. You should be working with your group to get him out. Mark my words. Alyssa keeps on like this, she is going to go on Frenchie's HOH and she's going to be shocked that it happened. Like, I hope Frenchie's the one to send her home. Like, if, God forbid, the Slaughterhouse is the final eight, I hope that she goes on Frenchie's HOH so she can see that she was just used. Because at this point, that kind of realization is what she deserves. Because she is not playing a good game at all. She's playing a dirty game. She is not playing a game anyone should really like anyone has any reason to respect. I've even seen some like Alyssa Stan accounts on Twitter that are just kind of like just backing away. They're like that Homer Simpson gif where he just backs into the bushes. Like a lot of them are doing that. Like I saw one, Alyssa was their profile picture, and they're like, "Girl, you keep on like this, I might have to change my profile picture." And I'm like, "Do it." Yeah, I don't like the way Alyssa's playing. I don't appreciate it. All right, see if anything spectacular has happened since my little Alyssa rant. Nah, doesn't seem to be. All right. Well, I've been talking for almost an hour now. 56 minutes, 34 seconds. So that'll do it. Thank you to the one viewer I had who showed up for the live stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. And let's all channel our inner Caitlins and manifest Kyland doing the right thing. Like what was Caitlin's thing? She's just like manifesting. Manifest the crap out of it. I will admit, as much as I picked on Caitlyn during BB20, when things on the show are like when I just need things to go a certain way, I have found myself manifesting things to go that way. And sometimes it has actually worked. So maybe there's actually something to all her nonsense. I don't mean to say like the whole thing, the spiritual thing is nonsense because like, you know, there's some stuff in this world that can't be explained like in that way. But like Caitlyn as a person was just nonsense. But still, the manifesting thing, maybe there's something to it, you know. But yes, uh, that will do it for this stream. My first as Cinnabar Nick. That's the name I'm going to be sticking with for a while. I think I might even make Cinnabar my border around me. Just since I put Cinnabar in my name now, it might make more sense. Plus, the red on green like that, it does look a little too Christmassy. So yeah. By the way, uh, that's there for the chat that never comes. So like, this can't be good to watch on YouTube when it's just me on one side and then next to me is just a big red and green box. But one day, maybe changing my name away from something that sounds like Drake Bell, Drake Bellick, maybe changing it away from Drake Bell will win me some points because Drake Bell is not doing too well right now. It's not good. But yes, that'll do it for this stream. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.